Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling.
Just minutes ago, something unfolded at the Pechoin event that sent a quiet ripple across the internet. A moment that was not announced as extraordinary, yet somehow felt unforgettable to those who witnessed it. The atmosphere shifted in a way that cannot quite be measured, as if time itself paused for a brief second to observe what was happening on stage and beyond it. Zhao Lusi appeared first, and in that instant, the entire space seemed to soften. It was not just her arrival, but the way she carried herself, almost like a gentle presence, drifting through light, rather than walking through a venue. And then, unexpectedly, Liu Yuning appeared in the same space. Not as part of a staged pairing, not as part of an announced collaboration, but simply as another presence within the same moment. And that was enough to change everything. The internet did not receive a dramatic announcement, yet somehow it reacted as if it had just witnessed the opening scene of a story no one expected to begin. The Pechoin event was meant to be a celebration of beauty and branding, a structured occasion filled with elegance and presentation. Yet what unfolded within its atmosphere became something far more emotionally layered. Zhao Lusi stood under the lights in a way that made the entire setting feel softer, almost dreamlike. Her presence carried a calm radiance, the kind that does not demand attention, but naturally draws it in. Every camera angle seemed to find her effortlessly, as if the lens itself was guided by something unseen. Her expression, gentle and slightly reserved, created a sense of closeness that fans often describe as comforting rather than distant. She did not project grandeur, she projected warmth. And in that warmth, viewers found something deeply human. Moments later, Liu Yuning's presence entered the same visual frame of attention. There was no shared introduction, no orchestrated interaction, no formal alignment between the two appearances. Yet the timing alone was enough for audiences online to begin weaving connections, not from what was said or done, but from what was felt. Liu Yuning carried a grounded stillness, a quiet confidence that balanced the softness of the moment in a completely different way. Where Zhao Lusi felt light and delicate in presence, he appeared steady and composed, creating a contrast that audiences instinctively responded to, even without understanding why. And this is where something interesting began to happen. The audience did not wait for instructions or explanations. Instead, they began to interpret the moment emotionally, rather than logically. Clips surfaced across social platforms, each one capturing slightly different angles, slightly different seconds, yet all contributing to a shared sense of atmosphere. In one frame, Zhao Lusi turned slightly, her expression softened by the lighting. In another, Liu Yuning stands calmly in the background of movement, not directly interacting, yet somehow part of the same emotional field. These fragments, when stitched together by viewers online, created a perception that felt larger than the actual event itself. It was not about what happened between them, because in truth, nothing formally connected them in that moment. It was about what the human imagination chose to build around their shared presence. Fans began describing the feeling not in terms of facts, but in terms of atmosphere. There was a sense of curiosity, a gentle excitement, and a kind of emotional projection that often appears when two well-loved public figures exist within the same visual space. The mind naturally fills in the gaps when silence is present, and in this case, silence became the most powerful storyteller. As the clips circulated, the reaction online grew steadily. Comments did not focus on confirmation or denial of anything specific, but rather on emotional interpretation. People described the moment as soft, cinematic, and unexpectedly moving. Some said it felt like a scene from a drama, that had not been officially announced. Others spoke about the natural contrast between the two figures, as if their energies created a visual balance that was pleasing to watch, even without interaction. This kind of response is not unusual in modern fan culture, where perception often becomes part of the entertainment itself. What made this particular moment resonate was not intensity, but subtlety. There were no dramatic gestures, no overt exchanges, no structured storytelling within the event itself. Yet viewers found meaning in stillness. Zhao Lusi's presence evoked a sense of gentle elegance, something that feels almost intangible, yet emotionally present. Liu Yuning's presence, on the other hand, introduced a quiet stability, a grounded energy that contrasted yet complemented the softness around him. Together, even without interaction, they formed a kind of visual duality that audiences found unexpectedly compelling. As the online conversation expanded, the focus gradually shifted from the event itself to the feeling it created. Fans began replaying short clips, not because something dramatic occurred, but because the atmosphere itself felt worth revisiting. This is where modern digital storytelling often finds its strongest power. It is no longer about major plot developments, but about emotional resonance captured in brief, imperfect fragments. A glance, a movement, a moment of shared space. These become enough to sustain attention far beyond their actual duration. In many ways, this reflects how audiences today engage with celebrity culture. They are not only observers of events, but participants in interpretation. They construct narratives not from confirmed information, but from emotional suggestion. And when a moment like this occurs, where two familiar figures appear within the same environment without direct interaction, it opens a space for imagination to take over. That imagination is not about truth or accuracy. It is about feeling. Zhao Lusi continues to be seen by audiences as someone who carries a soft and approachable charm, a presence that feels relatable despite her status. Liu Yuning, meanwhile, is often perceived as calm and steady, someone whose energy anchors a scene rather than disrupts it. When these two energies exist in parallel within a shared moment, viewers naturally respond to the contrast, even if nothing explicit connects them. It becomes a visual harmony rather than a narrative one. And perhaps that is why this moment lingered in public attention longer than expected. It was not loud, it was not structured, and it did not aim to create a headline. Yet it became something people returned to, something they replayed and reinterpreted. In a digital space filled with constant information, sometimes it is the quietest moments that stay the longest in memory. There is also a broader layer to this kind of reaction. It reflects how audiences today seek emotional texture in the content they consume. They are drawn not only to events, but to the feelings those events generate. A soft smile, a shared space, a contrasting presence. These elements become building blocks for emotional storytelling that exists beyond the intention of the moment itself. And in this case, the Pechoin event became less about branding and more about perception, less about structure and more about feeling. As the discussion continues online, what remains most evident is that this was never about defining a relationship or constructing a narrative with certainty. It was about the experience of watching two well-known figures exist in the same emotional frame, even briefly, and allowing audiences to interpret that frame in their own way. In that sense, the moment belongs not to the event itself, but to the people who watched it and felt something in return. And perhaps that is the quiet truth behind why it spread so widely. It did not ask to be understood in a fixed way. It simply invited people to feel. If you've been following moments like this, you already know that Update X24H is dedicated to bringing you these subtle, emotionally rich stories from the world of entertainment as they unfold. If this kind of storytelling resonates with you, consider subscribing to the channel so you never miss the next moment that quietly captures the internet's attention. Your support means a great deal, and helps us continue sharing these cinematic perspectives with a global audience. Thank you for watching, and stay with us for more updates that turn simple moments into unforgettable stories.